am not gonna lie, the past, I don't know, 4 hours or so, 5 hours depending on when you watch this, has been some of the most confusing up and down roller coaster of trying to process what exactly is on hand. Today, we got an update for Black Ops 4 that, in theory, could have been a big deal. Didn't turn out to be anything like that. A lot of speculation, some frustration thrown about the community, and then some things coming out with Modern Warfare 4, or what we think is Modern Warfare 4, and then finally some clarity on some things from Treyarch themselves. And all in all, it's just been a very hectic kind of last 5 hours again. I've honestly sat at my microphone for about 2 hours now, trying to think about how I'm going to present this because it's just kind of all over the place. So let's talk about all of it in as best a detail as possible here and let you guys know the fate of not only what changed today, what is still to come, but also just some things that may be of relative interest to you as a Call of Duty fan. So as mentioned, today theoretically could have been a big day. It's the final update day of Operation Grand Heist for PlayStation 4. As with our normal weekly Tuesday updates, theoretically we could have gotten a lot because there is still a couple of things, a handful of things that we haven't seen that have been in the promotional material. But instead today, we did not get a massive update of any sorts. Instead, we got a very minimal one at that, in which we got some playlist refreshes and then a few shop changes. Nothing super major, but just for the sake of being thorough, you'll notice 2 of the playlist changes right off the bat when you log in and you see your multiplayer, league play, blackout, and zombies tiles, to which you end up seeing Infected and Hot Pursuit as those featured on the main menu. Now, as for the MP side, of course, Infected is back to the featured playlist. Didn't go anywhere, but it was moved from that so that Deathmatch Domination could have its launch week kind of in the limelight there. But Infected is returning, and on top of that, they also added an Arsenal, Arsenal Sandstorm, Frequency, Hacienda, and Payload to the map rotation in that playlist. Previously, they were omitted, and so you would not be able to play on any of them, but now this should open up a little bit more map variety for whenever you end up playing that game mode. While it wasn't specifically detailed in the slight little Reddit post they ended up giving, Matt Strauss also mentioned they deployed a fix that should hopefully take care of some of the out-of-boundaries glitches that you may have encountered in Infected, where players literally could get out of the map, and therefore you could not kill them, and they'd automatically win. Hopefully those are all fixed out. I hate seeing that kind of stuff happen where you as an Infected player can't do anything about that, but again, wasn't mentioned, but slightly was over on Twitter. Outside of that, Deathmatch Domination is now live on all platforms, and the mode now actually supports up to 6v6 play. This isn't necessarily something that happened with today's update. A couple of days back, it actually was introduced to 6v6 rather than 5v5 play, so that's cool, but Xbox One and PC now have access to this as well, whereas it's not the featured mode anymore for PlayStation 4, but it is in the featured game modes category in the multiplayer selection. So it's not going to be your main menu selection, but you can still play it if you want to. Again, ton of fun here at this one. Domination mixed with TDM, in which your kills count towards your objective capture points as well. So always great there with that, but then we also end up seeing the featured playlist of Endurance Chaos Mosh Pit for consoles coming back, and then the Mercenary Objective Mosh Pits added as well. On the Blackout front, we ended up seeing that Hot Pursuit was added back into that featured category, in which this might be the last week for Hot Pursuit, depending on how Treyarch decides to go about this with the next operation. But being this was kind of the bread and butter of Blackout for this operation, it wouldn't surprise me if this is the last hurrah that we end up seeing here for this. But with the reintroduction of Hot Pursuit for the end of Grand Heist and also the end of the free-to-play period, that is now on its final week as well. It's going to go until next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hot Pursuit ended up replacing Hardcore Blackout. That's no longer in any of the playlist selections here for players to choose from, and so therefore, I don't know if that will make its return at some point, but for the time being, or at least the end of Operation Grand Heist, it doesn't seem like it will be. The only other technicality in terms of things changed out from that perspective comes down to an MP change where Battery had an increased cooldown time for the cluster grenade and also a reduced mine grenade damage for that cluster as well. So outside of that, the only other things that changed were the shop, and again, that really wasn't even anything to look forward to. We ended up seeing the only 2 shop changes here were the featured items, in which we had an emote bundle of the Codfish, Cheers, and Mic Drop emote for 800 COD points. I'm gonna say no thanks on that one. Outside of that, the only other thing that was changed out was the masked reactive camo is back. This one initially for the Koshka for headshots, in which this then can be applied to any other weapon outside of that once you unwrap it. But again, this was previously available before. It's not a new item, it's just reintroduced. And that is quite literally all of the changes here that we had for Black Ops 4 today, which is, again, for the last update of Grand Heist, really underwhelming. So my question is, where are these 4 things? The Mini 14 Sniper, Misty, Prop Hunt, in Ambush 2.0. And we're going to talk about it because we did get some clarity, fortunately just before I made this video, so I now can go in with all the information here to tell you about it. But those 4 things, earlier today, I was genuinely at such a big loss, and it still doesn't even turn out to how I want it to be, really, but answers no less. We'd often wondered where those 4 things went, or at least those 3. Ambush 2.0 is kind of, I guess, a little icing on the cake here for it, that it's a little buffer to add more things in that they've mentioned was coming back, but never actually did. But as for the content that was original, brand new, and was actually showcased in the marketing material for Grand Heist, the Mini 14 sniper rifle, prop hunts, as well as Misty were there from the very beginning and were shown intermittently throughout the entire operation. Turns out, well, looks like they got delayed. In the blog post itself and over on Twitter, Treyarch ended up saying, and for all those prop hunt fans out there, see you next week. As well as then accompanying it by saying that Prop Hunts and Misty are currently planned to go live in Black Ops 4 next week on PlayStation 4, and more weapons are coming throughout our next operation, including a new sniper rifle and much more. We can't wait to show you what's just around the corner. And if I can speak freely for a moment, I'm really torn on this. My biggest thing always comes down to communication. I think that solves so many issues and honestly can stop the riots from happening before they even start. And a lot of the times that communication is just delayed so much to the point where people rile themselves up and those problems occur no less. And I feel like that is what happened here with this one, but at the same time, I'm also tremendously disappointed that these things that were in the game files, in the game, and sometimes even visible, i.e. Misty was actually visible in the character selection menu from Blackout at the beginning of Grand Heist, they sat there idle for an entire operation. And for whatever reason, they just got pushed back. It seems like they're going to be launching either Misty as the special order coming up next, or maybe even in the tiers, to which maybe that's where the sniper rifle is as well. And I swear, I'm going to be so bummed out if they end up replacing something that we don't know about, something that potentially could be brand new in that sense outside of what is already visible, and replacing that with just a sniper. Honestly, if they end up doing a 25, 50, 75, and 100 tier reward where, say, they have those 3 new weapons, plus throw that in then, and they negate what may be a sticker, that I think would be all right. So if they increase the number of weapons per stream, sure. But if that's something that delays then or takes away from something else that may be cool, then that's where I'm going to be really bummed out about it. And I said it over on my Twitter earlier in the day, and honestly, like, it's not even a full-on I'm angry, I'm pissed off, I'm mad or anything like that. It's just a state of confusion that I'm in, because when I think about it, with this 1 week in Grand Heist left now being clarified to see this stuff roll over potentially into the next operation, I get there are developmental snags, but why not just communicate that? The entire point of all the promotional material from the trailer, from the articles and the key art posted about and throughout the event itself were all meant to do one thing: promo new material coming very soon in the operation that it's pertaining to. And with those things, like the Mini 14 being seen in the trailer, like Misty being actually seen in the game in multiple pieces of promo art and things alike, if there were developmental snags, I would much rather be told, hey, this is probably going to be pushed back, rather than continually having that hope of seeing it somewhere in the marketing material and starting to expect it to come during that time frame. This is the first time that I can recall that we've seen something premiered for one specific area and then not ever come in it within the Call of Duty franchise. But I think one of the most curious things to me, or at least earlier in the day we had a little more clarity as to potentially why this happened, is that there wasn't even an event teaser that went live today. We're now 7 days out from a supposed massive expansion and DLC launch, with 3 maps this time instead of 2, another refresh of new content and new themes and so on and so forth, and a bunch of stuff we haven't seen in Black Ops 4 just yet, and we have no teaser at all yet. The last 2 events that we ended up having, and of course the only 2 that needed pre-promotion, both started the Monday of the week before, so 8 days out. Now, 7 days out, moving into our 6th day, that's going to be the first time we see an opportunity for something to be posted. But I think this might have been in relation to the fact that we might have gotten some 2019 teasers, or some pre-promo, nothing really confirmed, no name thrown out or anything like that, but there were a bunch of collegiate football players that are in Nashville for the draft that ended up actually using the hashtag of Call of Duty Partner and posted on their Instagrams talking about how they ended up having the opportunity to play the upcoming game, and that it was pretty cool, and they wanted to give you their seal of approval here for it. That's some pre-promo stuff that they do every single year. There's nothing super out of the ordinary, but the timing to me is definitely curious, because again, the new operation is next week. Usually this MW4 stuff or the next year's title has some room to breathe, and this one was just kind of thrown in the mix arbitrarily, it seemed like. But regardless, that happened. And in terms of updates relating to the next operation, it seems like we might pick up as of tomorrow or sometime during the week, though. Of course, now at this point, the weekend, they're going to have to contend with the Fortnite and Avengers crossover, then also Endgame itself actually launching. So social media is going to be absolutely inundated with a lot of posts. So there's some competition out there this week for sure. But regardless, those things seemingly will happen. A reveal trailer, a roadmap for the next operation, and also a live stream from Treyarch and some of the devs over there actually detailing what's to come. So we'll see what that actually brings in time. But regardless, that's the stuff that happened today. Again, kind of all over the place and a little lackluster, maybe not exactly what we had hoped, but that's where we're at right now. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you guys a little bummed out by this last update for Grand Heist? Are you a little bummed out that some of this stuff got rolled over? I know that I definitely am, so I'm hoping that this just replaces some of the stickers or whatever that may have been coming in maybe the Contraband stream. I'm hoping this doesn't actually affect the cool stuff that would be on deck, but instead just adds to it. That's the only positive that I can see here out of this. But regardless, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered with the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. You guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram. Those are the best places you can connect outside of YouTube. Probably live on both those. If you guys want to straight up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. All said and another way, thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Ben Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.